In 2002, I had the privilege of representing Angela Cezanni, who was a little foster child who had fallen into a pool on the day of a birthday party where, tragically, she nearly drowned and ended up in a hospital on a ventilator, feeding tubes, and brain injured to the point that she would never lead a normal life. My job was to try to recover enough money that we could fund her existence, her care, her treatment, the ability to give her what she needed for the rest of her life. And as a personal injury attorney, we were able to accomplish that more than 5 years later when we were able to obtain policy limit settlements into the millions of dollars to fund a trust on her behalf and to benefit her for the rest of her life. But that was just the beginning of my representation of Angela Cezanni. The work just began because she was in the Florida dependency system, and I had the privilege of being her attorney at Whiteham to ensure that she was placed in an appropriate facility that could address her healthcare needs, because she needed to be in a nursing facility. She needed the ability to have feeding tubes and folks monitoring her oxygen and her ventilation and all bodily functions 24/7. She wasn't walking, she wasn't talking. We didn't even know if Angela could feel pain at that time because she seemed semi-conscious. And so, even in the personal injury claim, when the defendants claim that she can't feel it, she doesn't have the ability to endure pain and suffering, we were concerned because we saw, as we moved her through the process of healing, that she was showing signs, knowing that people were present, and she was showing signs that she was conscious to what was happening while she was trapped inside of her body. After the personal injury settlement, the first significant legal battle that we had to endure was Medicaid wanted to move her out of the nursing facility. They wanted to put her into a group home that was nowhere near a hospital when she needed life support. It didn't have shift care 24/7, and if somebody went to sleep and Angela had a problem, there was no one there to address her needs. She didn't have the kind of care and treatment, round-the-clock nursing, under, the Florida benefits that would have been provided to her in the group home. So we were able to marshal the data together and fight Florida's Agency for Healthcare Administration and successfully resist the efforts to put her into a group home so the state of Florida could save money. Angela aged. It was more than 2 decades later, but she still needed us to participate in her dependency case till she turned 22 years old, because unfortunately Florida did not find her an adoptive family. They did not find her a permanent home to be in, other than the fact that we had been able to keep her at Kids Corner. Kids Corner was a place that became her family. The nurses, the respiratory therapists, the occupational therapists became her family, and Angela was beloved. But at the age of 22, Angela could not qualify to be in a nursing home any longer, in a pediatric nursing facility, because that's the age of the cutoff. And in fact, benefits under Florida law became very minimal. And tragically, for someone like Angela in her condition, we had to take the battle further. And so the biggest battle we fought for Angela was just before she turned 22. We were able to do something that has almost never been done in the state of Florida. We were able to keep her and fight to get a waiver to keep her at the Kids Corner. Now, Kids Corner was a licensed facility. Their licensure level would not allow Angela to stay or any adult to come into the facility to receive the specialized kind of care that Angela received. But I can tell you this, Angela had improved over the years. Angela opened her eyes. Angela started to show us all that she was there. Angela's eyes would track us when we came into the room. And she would see us and we would know that she was attaching, because there were times we saw she would almost cry when we left. And she seemed to recognize us all when we came. And we made the argument to the Agency for Healthcare Administration, the top officials in the state of Florida, that after 20 years in foster care in the Kids Corner facility, Angela deserved to stay at Kids Corner, to be with her family who would care for her for most of the 20-year period of time. And fortunately, just before her 21st birthday, the Secretary of the Agency for Healthcare Administration in the state of Florida signed an order allowing Angela Cezanni to remain in the Kids Corner, a pediatric care facility, for the rest of her life. And so Angela was the inspiration for a law that I was able to achieve and fight for in 2014 with Florida Children's First, a statewide group that we formed to be the voice for foster children, to allow all of the kids in Florida who are medically fragile to have an attorney represent them in their dependency proceedings. And every disabled child was able to have that voice, and Angela was an inspiration for the passage of that law. Her example to Florida Children's First and to the Florida legislature and to the governor made sure that every child in foster care who was fragile medically, like Angela, who couldn't walk, who couldn't talk, and needed nursing facilities, got an attorney to be her voice.